Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sonia Chandel, your host and technical support for the day. A few requests. Please stay on mute and keep your cameras off during the webinar so that there is no disturbance. And I will be taking up your questions towards the end. So you can type all your questions in the chat box. Don't ask in between the session. And I will also share the link of our channel in the chat box. You can subscribe and watch the videos there. As well as our speaker has requested that you please fill up the feedback form. That link also I will give in the chat box. Punjab University Alumni Association is proud to host today's webinar on biogas from food waste. Himachal Pradesh tackles the energy challenge, as it is from our alumnus Dr. Sudhir Kumar, who's our alumnus and who studied from 1991 to 96 in Punjab University. Please allow me a few minutes to introduce and welcome our speaker today. Dr. Kumar did his graduation and post-graduation from Punjab University and postdoctoral from USA. However, he decided to work in India, and from the past 12 years, he has been working in the area of bioremediation and biofuels. He has dedicated his life to the improvement of society and imparts training, education, and promotes technology extension in the area of biogas from MSW and agricultural residues from among students and society. Presently, he is the head Department of Biotechnology and Bioinformatics at JP University of Information Technology, Solan, Himachal Pradesh. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you for agreeing to share your knowledge and experience with us today. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible, Sonia ji?
Yes, sir. I hope I was audible.
Thank you for this introduction. And yes, you rightly said I was there in Punjab University from 1991 to 1996 in the Department of Botany. And I could see in the chat box that my very respected teachers, my respected seniors, my colleagues, and some of my students also from JP University, they have joined and in this webinar. Namaskar. So this webinar is on biogas, what we are doing, the work related to biogas, and the substrate we have taken is food waste. So I'm sure that you will like our work, and this is work in different domains, starting from scientific, social, cultural, and then integrating all these things. So I'll start my presentation, and in between, if you have any question, you can put it in the chat box. Sonia ji, my presentation is visible?
No, sir, not yet. You have not shared your screen. Please share your screen, then you'll be able to see.
I hope it is visible now.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's visible. Perfectly fine.
Okay. So the contents of my presentation will be, I will tell you about that, we all have a biogas plant in Indian context, in Bangladesh, in Nepal, and other countries, even in now, most of the developed, underdeveloped, or developing nations, biogas is not a new concept. And in Punjab, Himachal, Haryana, UP, we are very familiar with one type of biogas plant, which is called Deen Bandhu Biogas Reactor. So the content of my presentation will start from the Deen Bandhu Biogas Reactor. Then I'll tell you what actually was our aim and what are the different sectors in Himachal Pradesh where our group is currently active and installed the biogas reactors. I will also tell you about, because this is a very important question, so what is the efficiency of the various biogas reactors and the other aspects which are related to their microbes. And I'll be very happy to share with you few innovation related work which we had in our university and with my team related to cook stove, biogas stove, and the vapor filter that I'll explain. And any technology is only successful if you actually send it to for some testing, and then ultimately the users are there. So I'll show you wherever our technology is used. And lab work is related to biogas reactor because there is a continuous improvement going on in various aspects that I'll tell you. And then our biogas stoves and the biogas reactors in use in Himachal and in UP that I'll show. And what is our current and future roadmap for particular biogas work, and few of our press releases and our publications, and who are the members of the team that I'll show you, the research group of the biogas team. So this is a very important question because biogas is not a new concept and very commonly known as gobar gas. And we are very familiar of these type of plants. And I'm very sure that in, that 1980s, the MNRE, the Government of India, had this project through our almost all over India to have these type of plants which are underground, and then there was a subsidy on these plants were there. But as per recent statistics of MNRE and the World Bank, almost 70% of the plants, like gobar gas plant, kah lijiye, ya biogas plants, they are actually non-functional and they need repair. So if the user, they are not investing money on getting it done and again making it functional, so we need to know what are the issues, why it is not now that much in usage, and if it was in usage, now it is not preferred. So this is very important because we just cannot throw the technology on a semi-urban, urban, or a rural population. We have to see three aspects for any technology, very important: scientific, social, and then cultural. So on these three backgrounds, I'll tell you what happened to our biogas plant and what were the difficulties and what were the issues in all these three components. First is scientific. When the 1980s or 90s, when the biogas plants was established and block officers, they made a list and users was then defined, and ultimately the biogas plants, they were installed in various villages, various blocks throughout India. The scientific know-how and lacking was, that this is a particular biogas plant which runs on so many parameters are important. One was temperature and pH, and also feedstock. So ultimately, what happened? The pH, temperature, and the feedstock correct ratio and the know-how somehow was not passed on to the villagers. Like if the pH go down, what you need to do? If the winters come, how much feedstock you have to put into your biogas digesters? So mainly our villagers, they were putting on cow manure, which we say cow dung. So what type of feedstock should be put in winters or summers? What is the ratio of that with respect to water? And if pH goes down, how we control it? So these type of smaller issues, which during our survey also in Himachal, we saw that the villagers were continuously feeding their biogas plants with cow dung, and ultimately what happened, due to you can say, but not a balance between the microbial communities which are there inside the biogas digester, which we commonly say acidogen, acetogens, and methanogens. So ultimately the biogas was irregular, and that was a very common and you can say prominently known scientific thing which we could see. Now I take you to the cultural one. 1980s, when the biogas plant was established and it was based on cow dung, in cow dung was not an issue. People can work in that. They can work with cow dung, and it was not that much problem to work with cow dung, though it was a problem to have a human excreta and then to have a biogas. There was a cultural issue. So ultimately our biogas was mainly actually with the cow dung. So what happened at that time, most of the women were going to the nearby forests to collect the forest wood. And when the biogas was installed, they were actually saving time But there were two views. The World Bank has established this fact that there were close to 20 to 30% of the women, they said that the only time that we have to go out from the house was to collect the wood. So this biogas plant, when it is there in the home, actually it is increased our work because we have to put cow dung, then we have to clean, then we have to manage slurry. So ultimately it was an added responsibility on the lady of the house because it was seen that the biogas plant is attached to the cooking. So it is a work of the lady. So when in 90s and 2000s, the women was more interested to invest time on the education of their children and also for their entertainment to have a television in the afternoon, they could switch over to LPG very easily if they can afford it. And if they could not, then it was a long journey, 30 to 40 years. Social, cultural, and scientific barriers actually made this biogas journey halted. So what happened? So those who can afford, they switch over to LPG. Those who could not afford, they could see it is a lot of work to do. And ultimately, you know, the final blow to the biogas in India happened when we have a dwindling population of the cattle or the farm animals. Because normally now the people are moving towards cities, semi-urban, they prefer urban life. So even the milk production was scaled up in the dairy farms. So the households having farm animals, they will keep on decreasing when the cow dung is not available. So this was a final blow. Those who were interested also, they could not run their biogas plant. And ultimately the other finding of the World Bank and MNRE was biogas cook stove was not so efficient as we have the efficiency in the case of LPG stoves. So, you know, this is a story from where we started in 2008. I, along with my team, went to villages which are nearby our area. We are close to 1500 meters altitude. And in summer, we get close to 30, 35 temperature. And the biogas can work here. But I could personally saw there that people have used these biogas tanks now just to store their water. And they are abandoned. So that was a journey which we started. And then I thought that a state like Himachal, where the topography and the altitude is different from the plain area, now having excavation and having these type of Deenbandhu and Janta and underground plants is not feasible, and people will not prefer that. So then I was, along with my team, in search of something new. And before I tell you what we did, the important point is, Sonia ji, I'm not able to move the slide.
So just press the arrow button.
I'm doing it, but somehow it is halted.
Okay, no problem.
Can you do it?
Just stop sharing and try sharing again. In the
Okay.
meantime, I'll open your PPT, and if it doesn't work for you, then I'll share my screen.
Okay, sure. Is it visible now? Sonia ji,
Yes, it's visible now.
Is it visible now? Okay.
Yes, it is visible now. You can go to the slide you want to, and just before you start, just try toggling between different slides. We'll see if it gets stuck. Go back one slide and forward one slide. Just see.
Okay. Okay. So now, most of the villagers, when we started our work, they were asking like, what is a comparison that we are already using LPG and we are happy with that, we can afford that. So what is the use of biogas for us? And this is a very important question. I would like to address it here, biogas versus LPG, which is very important. So the point is, I think those who have joined in this seminar, all of we have LPG in our kitchen. We don't have biogas. So what is a comparison which you need to know? The comparison is LPG efficiency is better. Cook stove is, LPG stove is better. Biogas stove efficiency is lesser. But at the same time, we know that LPG being a fossil fuel and the market is also, that higher and higher prices we have to pay. Now, if I compare this LPG with biogas, LPG is a highly compressed gas. A biogas which we are using in our digesters in Himachal and in UP, that is an uncompressed gas. So whenever there is an issue of leakage of LPG, such a high pressure gas, there's a lot of danger for explosion. But the biogas being uncompressed gas, if in case there is a leakage, and also it's a lighter than air. Biogas is a lighter than air. And for getting it flamed, you need 50 to 55% of its methane content is very important that you should have. So when it is there, it is lighter than air, its concentration get diluted immediately. So risk factor is comparatively quite low because you work on the atmospheric pressure. So biogas is actually a mixture of methane and CO2, and the methane you are going to get close to 60%. And sometimes 60-65% also if you are using cow dung or food waste. So removing CO2 from the biogas, you actually get we say CNG. Pure methane is a CNG. So biogas is an excellent fuel. It is a smokeless fuel. It is not risky. And the one more thing which is important, LPG being fossil fuel is increasing the greenhouse gases. Biogas, which is essentially a methane, which is having a very high potential of greenhouse gases. But, the biogas, which is coming from the renewable and biodegradable resources, so actually it follows the carbon neutral cycle. Biogas is a fuel for the future for a country which are subtropical or tropical, where we have a long summer, where we can have, in Himachal, we are running this biogas plant almost for 10 years, almost for 10 months. For 2 months in January and February, the biogas production gets low up to 50%. But in our plain area, you will get a very good high efficiency of this biogas. Now, what was our aim? We started in 2008 with these 3 aims, that we have to design a biogas reactor, we have to design a biogas stove, which is actually useful to Himachal and the other people and very cost effective. My scientific view and my scientific thinking is simple system work. You go for a system which can be understandable, and whenever you install somewhere that system, you have to pass on the complete know-how to the villagers. Do not keep some things to yourself so that they will come again and again to you. So these type of technologies will not work in the long run, and make it in a public domain so that people can use it. People can get benefit out of that. So reducing the cost of operation was the second thing. And third was, can we make bioenergy nodal centers in panchayat so that people should not come to the source, to us. Someone is trained and he or she can train the next person. So these with 3 aims, we started our journey, and we selected these sectors in Himachal. Biogas is temperature-based process. So we thought Kangra, Una, Hamirpur, Bilaspur, Solan, and a part of Sirmaur, these are the areas where we need to focus because initially we need to do, so we have to select an area where the temperature was fine. So till now we installed more than 10 biogas plants in Himachal and in other states. So these are the locations where we have installed the biogas plants. Mainly it is in the Solan because we are located in Solan, so transportation was not an issue. So we need to manage that plants also. So we selected these plants mainly in Solan, which were in universities, institutes, and also in schools. And then this was a primary design. This photograph is also clicked in 2008. This was our first biogas digester. Very, very thankful to the Aarti, which is actually gave us the primary design, which is, you can say, organization in Pune. And we got a design from them, and it is in the public domain. Anyone can use. However, they were not very sure that whether it will work in Himachal or not. So I'll tell you that how this biogas plant works, how you can fabricate. I know by the time you are looking into this figure, it's very clear to you that these are actually two PVC tanks. The lower one is a digester, the upper one is a gas holder. So you have in this particular first biogas digester that we have in our university, we have 1,000-liter digester on the lower portion and 750-liter digester in the upper portion. And then you have a feeding pipe, and then you have a outlet for the slurry and the gas cork to supply the gas to the kitchen. A very simple design and very user-friendly design. You need not to have more of the space required. Why we selected this design? We saw at that time, even now in Himachal Pradesh, most of the people, they store water in these tanks and they discard the water tanks when the top is broken. So we have to ultimately, we have to break open the top. So we selected these tanks sometime from scrap, and sometime we also had purchased the new tanks and made this happen. And then you have to fill your digester with inoculum, which is actually the cow dung, which is a source of inoculum. Here I would like to tell you, we all know that methanogens actually is the final ladder that will produce methane, though other source of microbes are also there, hydrolytic acidogens and acetogens. Methanogens evolved when there was only ammonia, methane, and CO2 in the atmosphere. So when the green plants evolved, the oxygen, they used CO2 and the oxygen was there. So these methanogens, they have to hide because they were not able to tolerate oxygen, and they have to hide. And they actually took shelter in the gut of the ruminants and even non-ruminant animals, and also deep inside the water bodies and in the hot springs, so that they should avoid oxygen. So they are the very primitive type of microorganisms. So what I want to tell you through this example, this is a stationary system. And then when you fill it with the cow dung and the water, then this is a first thing you need to do to build up your, you can say that, this digester. But now, the first primary question was in my mind, this is a very small one. Can I cater the need of my kitchen even if we are 4 in a family? How much time it can give me gas? What are the parameters? How much gas I will get? How much cow dung I should add? Should I add cow dung every day? From where I'll get it? I'm in an urban area. So this design is actually fabricated in a sense that it is not a cow dung based biogas digester. What I want to tell you, that initial source is cow dung or a slurry or an inoculum from the previous digester, but after that you need not to add cow dung. And cow dung, actually methanogen which live in the gut of the ruminants, actually they are not for cow dung. They are there for getting the food they are eating, like the plants. The cow dung is an excreta, which is having very low calorific value. When the cow dung is thrown out, they are thrown out with the cow dung. So the cow dung calorific value is quite low. So when we had a discussion with the Aarti people, we came to know, if you want to have your Deenbandhu type of biogas digester, you need to add 40 kg of cow dung and you will get 1 kg of biogas, uncompressed. On the other side, if you add 1 kg of food, you will get almost 700 to 900 liters, almost 1 kg of the biogas. So the compactness of the design is actually not decreasing our efficiency, because you are giving a very high calorific rich food here. So that was the thing they explained us at that time. So ultimately we started our work. This was a small digester, and this work was sponsored by Ayurved Industry, which was situated in Baddi, Himachal Pradesh. So now, if you look into this slide, because there are many questions whenever we go to any villages to install that biogas plant, this is in all, if you have a 500 liters reactor and 400 liters gas holder, you are going to get a cooking time almost 1 hour. But this has been estimated when you have good temperature, good feedstock, not with cow dung. In our digesters, after 2008 till 2020, we never added cow dung. If it stopped working, then you need to know what happened. But ultimately, you only feed it up with the food waste. You need not to add cow dung. So this is a different type of biogas digesters which you can install. This is a very good rooftop model. This is a very good, like, you can have it on the rear side of the kitchen. There is no smell also. And you can even reach up to 5 hours cooking time with a reactor of 2,500 liters. Now, I was talking about cow dung with the vegetable waste. Sometimes we feel carbohydrate is a very good source of energy. But if you go through the biogas research, the maximum biogas you are going to get with the lipids and fats, then followed by proteins, and the least you will get with carbohydrates. As per our numerous experiments in our lab and in field, we saw whenever we use carbohydrates, the biogas production was very fast, but the methane content was just 55-60%. When we used like pine needle, we used agricultural residues, we used most of lipid protein rich component, our biogas production was low, but you can say the methane was up to even 70-80%. So that part is going on in our lab. But you know, why we selected food? Indian food naturally had carbohydrates, we naturally have fats, and we also have proteins. So this is, you need not to mention to the villagers or to the lady who is cooking a midday meal in the school that you need to had a CN ratio close to 30. Do not make the things complex. Do not tell them that for getting installed a biogas plant, you have to come to them and take a very nice bottle of inoculum, which is nothing but can be a slurry of cow dung. So you need to make it open to everyone. And I'm telling you, we as a scientist, we try to force things to villagers, to the people, that as if we know everything, but they have better common sense, they have better practicality. If you explain everything to them, though they are submissive, but they will do better. So that is our goal. That's why, establishing a biogas plant is very easy. Maintain it for another 5-6 years. You need motivated persons over there in the village. So you have to tell them everything. So this is a scientific thing which I explained you, that whenever you install your biogas, keep in mind, it's not like only rice if you add and you are going to get good methane. It's not like that.
I think you stopped sharing. Yeah.
No issue, no issue. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
So now, looking into that, Himachal government gave us certain projects. So what happened when we were installing these projects to the kitchens of the schools where they have midday meal, and mainly they have rice and they have pulses. I saw initially with my team, whenever we installed, money was coming from the government. We were a facilitating agency. After that, we saw biogas plant was not working. There were no one to take care. And ultimately, now what we were doing since 2017, wherever we have to go, we have to sign an MOU that principal of the school will maintain a register, and they will send us every week, or if not week, at least once in a month, they have to send it. What was the biogas? What was the pH strip we give them? So these are the 3 biogas plants that we installed. One was in Sirmaur, another is in a school, and third one is also in a school. So these registers, this is actually a logbook. Along with the principal, this is a principal in the 6 July 2017 figure. This is a school principal, very enthusiastic, very enthusiastic. That's why this biogas plant is running. If you see this 2018, this Gyan Court Sirmaur, it is not running because principal was not interested. So this government primary school, Badi, is still running very, very fine because we are very close by and we keep on going, and principal is also motivated. These plants are running and supplying their gas for the midday meal. So this is a logbook which we are getting. Now we have made a mandate that whenever there is a fabrication of the biogas plant, we will not fabricate alone. There should be all the villagers and the ladies should be there. Youth should be there. Students should be there. We will explain them everything so that tomorrow, if the principal is not there, SMC members are there. any student is there, a lady who is cooking meal, she is there, any teacher is there. So that worked actually, and we could move on. So this is a picture of our training to different schools in Himachal, and these are the installed biogas plant. If you see in this figure, there is one small water bottle connected to the biogas plant. If you can see that, where I'm explaining with my team, ladies are also there. There is a small bottle. You know what is the history of this? Why we are installed this bottle? The principal told us, sir, the biogas which is we are getting in the stove. First thing is stove is not good, which you have given us. Number two, it is actually with water. And so when the water comes, so ultimately there is an irregular supply. We are getting difficulty to cook. So we have shifted just to prepare tea. We are not able to cook our meals because water comes and the stove is not giving us very good flame. These were the two things which we actually saw when we worked in the field. So we started working and we went to many companies, asked them in Bombay also and in Maharashtra, particularly in Delhi also. They said that you need to install a water vapor filter and the cost is sometimes 10,000, 20,000. And you know, my biogas plant is not of value is not 15,000. And if you use scrap tanks, the value come low down to only 2,000 rupees. How can I have a 10,000 rupees vapor filter? So I'm very happy to share with you that my biogas technician, Mr. Karamdas, said, sir, can we have small like water bottle, reagent bottle, where the biogas comes? Biogas is lighter and it will quickly pass through. Water is denser. It will be there. After that, we'll clean it. It worked perfectly fine. And now in all the biogas registers, this is our version 1. I'll show you that in version 2, version 3, we have improved this vapor filter like anything. And this design registration we are going to follow. But it is open. Anyone can use it. So this we could sort out the problem of the school principal and various schools. And this bottle cost us close to, I think, 40 to 50 rupees. Then this is our recent venture in Kanpur fertilizer plant also. We installed this biogas digester and it is along with their mess. And on the other side, this reactor, which you could see in our university, this is installed in 2009. Many times monkeys actually try to mess with it and we try to again refabricate. But ultimately, from last 11 years, we are working on it. And this biogas plant supplies gas to our mess. You know, when you want to go to the scientific agencies, if you say I install biogas plant, I had some sort of extension programs, I do some training, my point of view is they are not convinced. You have to show them some scientific data out of that so that they can see science behind your work. So this is a work of one of the PhD student that we could see that sometimes we used to go up to 40 weeks. If you see, constantly we were monitoring our biogas, our CO2 and our H2S, methane, some lab experiments were going on. So this is on the lab scale, how to improve upon our field biogas production. That was very good, actually. I will not take much time on this, but you know, I was very much interested being from, I was a botanist, trained botanist, thanks to my all teachers, my seniors. Ultimately, I shifted to the field of biotechnology and learned microbiology again from my PhD supervisor. So I was very much interested what type of communities are here inside this biogas digester. Because I remember Aarti people told me you are not going to get it done and they are not going to survive in Himachal. So we took Gaudang from Himachal, we adapted that inoculum. So ultimately, when we had a profiling of this biogas microorganisms of our digester, we were very happy to note that many of the biogas digesters, this digester communities were unclassified and new. So we could publish this paper and we are working on other digesters also, which we have installed in Himachal, then what type of microbial communities are there. So this is a balance between various communities. If methanogens die due to high pH, due to low pH, they die, then ultimately you will not get any methane. So it's a very good synergistic effort of all the microbial communities. So you need to know the balance. So this is my very favorite slide actually, which I would like to show you a water vapor filter. Now I could paste our this version 2, version 3, but I'll show you. If you send me a mail, I can send you the recent vapor filter which we prepared. We filled up with certain material and increased its efficiency more than what is actually was available with this filter. Now the next question, if you remember, I said principal told me, sir, the gas production is not good. There is no pressure. So we saw most of the biogas which was we were getting from a biogas agencies like Rupak or Nodal Center from Chandigarh or from Himachal. They have a fixed type of biogas burners, and there was no much availability also because users are declining in number. So we saw actually you need to have bigger holes for this stove. The LPG stove and even the biogas stove which is there, it will not work because your biogas is uncompressed. You make it an atmospheric pressure. So we try to fabricate this stove in our workshop, and you can see that anyone can have it within 1 hour. You can make it, and then you have to have a almost half-inch hole so that uncompressed biogas go very fine way and there is no hindrance. So this is another thing. So we actually filed design registration for this biogas stove, but anyone can use it, anyone can fabricate it. There is no binding in that. That type of stove you need to make. So what happened? The World Bank report also said even in the countries like India, Nepal, and African countries where the lady of the house was interested to have biogas technology, if the biogas stove was not working well, there was no option to get it repaired or to get a new one because subsidy was only one time. So they have to invest time. They have to look for the users. So this you have to fabricate yourself. So what my message to you is, fabricate your biogas plant, fabricate your biogas stove, manage your biogas stove yourself. So you have to have your waste to energy. We know that the energy cannot be created, energy cannot be finished. So why not you, myself, and everyone can have a small biogas plant, at least for demo purpose only. If you cannot cook, then this is our again social interactive programs, and generally I prefer to interact with the villagers and with the users directly. But at the same time, sometimes you have to tell everything to the block development officers so that they should take it to forward, because they are the person who will take these technologies to every small household in the villages and in the semi-urban urban area. Let me tell you one thing, this is urban design. Now, this design is actually on the food waste. So this, I always say this is urban design. When you say something as urban design, the market in the rural also goes up. So this is a trend you need to follow. So 4 things we need to follow if you want to force any technology to the user: scientific, cultural, social, and economics. If you take care of these 4 things, then you can go through. Do not see that this technology is working, giving me gas, now I should float it to everyone. This will not work. So this is another so many pictures are there. My esteemed Professor Alu Walia ji is here. Some officers from Himachal government are there. Our registrar, Professor Major General Basi, is there. And if you see this figure where the ladies are interacting with our Major General Basi, I'm there. We installed a biogas plant for them, and through lottery system, we gave them biogas connection. So made a makeshift kitchen for them. Now the connection is rotating every month. They have to take the food from the mess, which is a waste food, and they can cook. And so the key of the biogas plant and the kitchen is given to that month-wise. So he was an officer who is like a mic holding one. He was the one who first of all actually recognized us and gave us a grant to establish these biogas plants throughout Himachal. Now I'll show you the actual working of these biogas plants. This is a biogas plant of the Dharanji Government Primary School of Dharampur. It is in a remote place of 12 kilometers from Dharampur. I'll show you their school kitchen and how they are using it. So this is a lady, she is cooking, but now this stove we have given, he's a school principal. Ladies are interacting with us during the.
Your video is not, we can't see, maybe a few seconds it will take.
You cannot see this?
No, we cannot see the video. Just wait for a few seconds, then it might run, or you play it again. Share your screen and play the video. Otherwise, I can play it for you.
You can play it.
Okay. The one where.
Or I should do it again if you want.
You try it, Sarans. No problem. I'll open it up.
Okay, kindly.
Just let me know which one to share. Okay.
This is no issue. You can play anyone, no issue.
Do you see my screen?
Not now. Yes, now we can.
Okay, this one?
Yes. Yes. So, am I audible, Sonia ji?
Yes, sir.
So, this is a biogas plant installed in a school in Dharanji. So, this is a stove which we have given to them, like improved stove. So, this was an old stove, so they were not happy with that. So, this is a school kitchen, and this school is having 29 students only, and they were having difficulty to cope up with the like the gas supply, and they were using a lot of firewood from the adjoining forests. So what I should say that only due to this school principal and this midday meal lady, this is still working. So this is actually depending upon users and the interest. If you give them LPG tomorrow, they will maybe switch over to that LPG because this is quite easy to have. So you need to have. Sonia ji, can you play other video?
Sure, sir.
So this is a Dharanji video. Now we will show you this video. This video is of Kanpur plant. So we established it in last year. So this is in their mess. Sometimes people they feel whether the gas is of the same type or not. So they are testing it whether it is a similar type of flame or not. So this is a Kanpur fertilizer factory. We installed 2 biogas plants, and again along with their mess. But I came to know that there were problems recently because ultimately when the maintenance officer is not there, so you need to. This is like a child. You have to take care of it every day. You have to feed it. If it is ill, like its pH goes down, you have to give it medicine in the form of lime, so that its stomach and its pH come to 7. If it likes food and it is going, a very good gas, everyday gas holder is going up like anything, you have to feed it more. Otherwise, it will be malnutrition. If you feel this biogas digester is your child, it will be viable option for every one of us. If we say, मैंने एक बार feed कर दिया, now I need not to do anything, then it will not work. So you have to take it into account that you have to feed it, you have to clean it, you have to see what are the requirements of the gas. This is a biogas stove and the biogas plant which is installed in our university. So as we are in the campus, so we never then go into like a non-functional mode. So this is a very recent video I would like to show you. We try to improve it. Like we had now, earlier we had PVC pipes. Now we have a better setup of supplying the gas to our mess. So you can see this digester is supplying gas to our workers mess where close to 150 people are there, but we are not able to cook the food for them. We used to have our tea for 40 to 50 guards are there in the university. So we used to prepare tea for them maybe after 2 days, 3 days. So this is a setup of biogas, which is presently there in the university. Whenever you feel like after the corona pandemic, you are most welcome to come. This is the stove, and the preparation of the tea, you can say very clean blue flame, and this is the one which we are using. And constantly I'll say that the technician is, and along with my collaborator Dr. Ashish, we used to think about how to improve upon this technology, so that questions which are raised, that pressure is low, or how much gas I'll get, so that I should, or along with my team, address all these questions. So these are some of the real examples and that I would like to show you through my presentation. Now,
I'm stopping.
yeah, no issue. I'm not sure. I'll try this prototype for lab work. Actually, this much bigger biogas plant I cannot install in my lab. So we installed a very smaller version of the biogas digester for chemistry and biology labs. It can be used in colleges, it can be used in schools. So it was quite, you can say, acceptable in various forums, because wherever we used to go, people used to say us, where is your biogas digester? You are showing us video. Can you bring your biogas digester to the conference? So that was a question we need to address. So we installed a very smaller version. I'm not sure whether it will play or not. I'll try for you if it works. Sonia, is it visible?
Yes, perfectly fine.
So this is a digester actually with movable digester we had in our lab. You can come and see that. So we took it in the like our university buses or other vehicles to various areas in nearby, like Solan, Shimla, to various colleges or to various conferences. So this biogas digester, you can install it. This needs very little food, like close to, I can say, 250 grams, 300 grams waste food, which is coming out of like probably from the student mess canteen, and you feed it here, and then you can attach it to a burner. So this video, we have attached this to our laminar airflow chamber. And you can see that how it is working. So you can use it. So this can be done in the chemistry labs. This can be done in a biology lab. So, this is an innovation for not by me, not by Dr. Ashish, I should say there. It's by a biogas technician, Mr. Karan Das. He said that portability we need to introduce now, because students should, and the conference people should see the actual digester. So you can use it and you can plan it, because these two tanks are very easily manageable, and I think cost is less than 1,000 rupees, and small hardware accessories. So that was a plan. Anyone can install along with the biogas digesters. And also I would like to tell you that there is no harm to invest this much. I'm very sure you will be succeeded in that. In case it's not, even then there is no problem, because there is no huge investment in that. So, so now I'm coming to the last part of my presentation. So this is our present work, what we are doing. I just actually try to show you a photograph of our biogas sensor. This is an actual reading. We are doing certain experiments along with students. Our aim is, can we have, because most of the people in like various IITs also, they try to use CO2 scrubber to remove CO2. Can we have almost pure methane coming out from the substrate only, so that we can have an excellent fuel quality? So we are doing certain experiments. And when we started experiment 2 years back, it was 70%. And we reached up to 92.3%. This is a data of last week. We are changing our substrate, we are putting certain things and making new combinations, and we are trying to actually eliminate CO2. Very, very promising results we are getting, and we are repeating it, because whenever you want to do something in the scientific communities, we want to double sure. So we repeated this experiment 2-3 times, but we need to do more so that we are very certain that we can improve the methane up to more than 90% of the overall biogas. These are few press releases related to our work. This is converting waste into cooking fuel. This was when we started our work in 2008. That time it was, again, it's the portability of the biogas plant, because you can always you can empty this plant and shift it to any other position also. So there is no hindrance in that. It's not a fixed one. So that is the advantage of this plant. So he's my brother, who is actually horticulturist, is a horticulture teacher, lecturer in Amritsar. So he tried it in his own school and showed some demo plant over there. And then I'm very happy to share with you that our team, the biogas team, 3-4 people, they were recognized by the government of Jharkhand in 2018 as a technical agency in the biogas work, and also from the Rural Development Department, government of Himachal Pradesh, again in 2018 as a Govardhan scheme as a technical agency. So we were very happy to get these recognition from the Jharkhand and from our HP state. And wherever we go, we try to take feedback from the users. We try to take feedback from the participants, what they feel, where is the lacuna, where is the gap. So my point of view is, no technology can move forward if you yourself feel it's fine. And I do not have any difficulty. The difficulty is only on the part of users. So we try to improve upon getting these feedback forms from various participants. And it's very important, as I was telling you, that you cannot work without funding. If you have funding, then you can raise your level to a different way. Extension is fine, social, cultural is okay, but you need to grow as a scientist, as a researcher also. So very happy to tell you that our students are doing excellent job. And this is a recent paper we got in renewable energy on our anaerobic reactor, which we installed in our university. And these are few other papers, only with the support of very hardworking students and team members. This is actually our team, myself and my collaborator from last 12 years, Dr. Ashish. He is basically a civil engineer and very good in mathematical part, design part, and kinetics part. And here you can see Ankur Chaudhary recently submitted his thesis. He was a person who took the biogas work, our biogas work, to a next level, and could publish in a very high impact factor journals, and could educate us in the later part of his PhD. Karamdas is a technician. He is the one who is taking care of all his children, though he is unmarried, but he has 10 to 12 children in the form of biogas plants, and he is taking care with very, very enthusiastic way. That's how we could maintain these biogas plants. Very thankful to Dr. Arun Sharma, who is our alumni of this university, who improved this presentation. So this is a teamwork, and I'm very, very happy to share with you that due to this teamwork, we could sustain our biogas plants. Many could not work. I would like to tell you, many could not work because there were many gaps, there were many issues. So, but these plants are working. And I'm very, very thankful to you, especially Professor Deepti ji, Dean Alumni, who actually gave me a chance to speak to this very, very respected gathering. And I'm very thankful to Sonia ji, staff member of Alumni PU, who actually constantly in touch with me and explaining many things that what Dr. Deepti is planning, and wonderful people over there. And my thanks to all my teachers, my seniors, my colleagues, and all the other participants that they joined and had a time to listen to me. So nice of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. But don't be in a hurry to thank. We are still with you. First of all, please switch on your camera. We have a lot of questions to ask you. Yeah, your video, you start your video. That is the camera. It was was a really
Yeah.
wonderful presentation.
Is it okay, Sonia ji?
Yes, sir. Perfectly
Okay.
fine. So, thank you for sharing everything with us, all your knowledge, your expertise. I'm amazed by the type of hard work that goes in. I forgot to switch on my video.
May I interrupt you, Sonia ji? I shared with you my presentation. I shared with you all the videos. Whosoever requires it, please, you can give it to them.
Sir, for that we will need your email ID that you can give it to us right now. You can speak it out, or I can type it down in the chat box.
If you have questions, I'm very happy to take those questions. No issue in
Yes,
that.
we have questions first, but please give your email ID also. Orally, verbally, you can tell the email.
I can write here.
Okay, should I read out the first question?
Just I will type the. Just 1 second.
It's okay. I can type in.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So first question is from Mr. Munish Kalwani. He says, my question is, as we are facing issues with polythene, which are not biodegradable, can we use this as a feedstock? Can it increase the biogas yield in respect to all three feedstock dung, vegetable waste, and fat slurry?
Not at all. We cannot use any non-biodegradable feedstock in the biogas digester. So to elaborate your question, if you will use very easily digestible feedstock like rice, pulses, food, so you will get very quick biogas. Even if you use agricultural residues which are hard to break due to cellulose and lignocellulose barrier, the biogas is quite you can say low because hydrolytic bacteria take time to break it down to pass on to the acidogens and acetogens and then the methanogens. So processes actually slow down. Some people, what they do, they try to give chemical treatment or pre-treatment to the lignocellulosic biomass so that the biogas digester and the microbes, they can do fast. But we avoid that. Reason is, if you use pre-treatment with acid, with alkali, or with some sort of anything, again you are increasing cost and the pollutants. So food is ample quantity in India. If you see the statistics, we are wasting a lot of MSW, including food waste. So, but no plastic can go to biogas plant.
Okay, sir. Mr. Kalbani has taken your email ID. He said that I would be asking many more questions, so he's going to be in touch with you. And then there is one from Mr. Rajesh Jalota. Thank you for joining, sir. We've been in touch with you recently. If you are comfortable, you can unmute and ask the question. Otherwise, I'll read out the question. Okay, I'll read it out. He says, do the operators of biogas plant maintain some data of gas production volume?
Yes, they actually maintain the gas production data. So what happens, this is a good question. We generally install a biogas plant of, you can say, 3000 liter capacity, and the gas holder is close to 2 cubic meter, like 2000 liter capacity. So generally what we explain to them, that once you add food, you roughly know what is a in kg, like 3 kg 4 kg food you have added, along with similar amount of like 1:1 ratio water. So what you need to do, you just need to see how much it is uplifted after 24 hours. That upliftment is actually delta H. So gas holder is actually a cylinder. So you can very well know the volume of the cylinder pi r square H. So what was the pi r square H in the previous day? And after you added the food, what is the upliftment of that? So they try to calculate it and send the data to us. Wherever we feel that even after addition of the food, the gas production is not there, there is no increment in delta H, we try to tell them check pH. If the pH is fine, we tell them what is the temperature. If temperature is okay, then we ask them, please see, is there any leakage with the soap solution or something like that? If there is no leakage also, I think then we have to find out what is the reason.
Okay. Sir, a lot of commonsensical things go in your work. bottles, soap solutions, and density of the gas, everything. Really nice. Okay, next question is, this is also a good question from Neeraj Rana. He says, can you modify a conventional natural gas burner to burn biogas? If yes, what is the performance comparison?
See, if you are talking about biogas burner of LPG, the efficiency of the biogas burner is 60 to 65%, and the best to best biogas LPG burner is 60 to 65%, and best to best biogas burner which is available with the various agencies, the efficiency is only close to 50 to 55%. The reason is, if you want, okay.
Can it be used?
See, biogas burner should have bigger holes because you are using uncompressed gas. You cannot use a very small hole burner because it is uncompressed gas. It is having not a density is not compared to the LPG.
Very good observation. Okay. Then we have a question. In some of the paper, it has been mentioned, this is from again Munish Talwani, that practical yield is not able to meet the theoretical value. So what can we do to obtain it?
See, you have to optimize your parameters. And the parameters is your CN ratio. If you are like working in a lab scientist, CN ratio 30 is perfect. And then you have to see temperature variation should be minimum, pH should be close to 7. And then your inoculum should be well adapted. And you keep monitoring your biogas plant health. Like we have soil card health, similarly you should have biogas health, biogas connection. And don't say it is a gobar gas, say a very new fantastic name given to this biogas so that you attract people. So you need to optimize parameter. That is my precise answer. So then you can reach to the maximum limit of your efficiency. And also one thing I would like to add, fat will give you the maximum one. You can even reach to maximum biogas production only with fats if you are using lot of like slaughterhouse waste along with your kitchen waste. You will get almost double the gas. If the reading is 700 cubic meter, you will get 1300, and that is tested. So try to look for a biogas substrate which is having more of organic dry matter. Like cow dung is having 85% of water. Slaughterhouse, which is having 50% of the total solids. If you look into that type of waste, you will surely get your production almost doubled. So you need to manage on these three things: watery based substrate, low biogas; more TSS, more VS, very high biogas.
Okay, sir, Mr. Jalota wants to talk to you and he has unmuted himself. Sir,
Sure.
go ahead, please ask your question.
All right, Sudhir, good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
And Sudhir, number one, congratulations for this setup, what you have developed, and you are also propagating the technology around.
Thank you,
I
sir.
think over the time it will be further improved, and we can, refine it further. I don't have a question as such, but I think I have a comment.
Sir.
And the one, or I can make a comment that this is an excellent technology which we can use to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, especially when we are talking about methane, because that's what you have just shown, methane. And it's I think when I was working in greenhouse gas emissions long time back, so after carbon dioxide, I think methane is 4 times more dangerous than carbon dioxide. So if we can tap methane and use it for cooking or whatever else, that's excellent. We are basically reducing the greenhouse gas emissions, and this technology should be refined and propagated. And I think at least at institutional level, I have recently seen there are so many institutions have mushroomed all over India, and they will be producing too much waste, especially the food waste, which can be, at least they can show that we are doing something to control greenhouse gas emissions. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely right.
And then on the other side, there are, you go to any vegetable market in India, or there should be some sort of waste collection system in which we can collect all the biodegradables and then have some sort of fermenter or digester, which can, also contribute towards your Modi ji's Swachh India, Swachh Bharat mission. Just a
Sure.
comment. I mean, since you have tapped this technology and you are propagating it, maybe there should be some like-minded scientists. They can work together and develop this technology more. And I know our teacher, Professor Ahluwalia, is also here. He is the one who can talk about the third generation biofuels.
Sure,
Maybe,
sir.
yeah. And if you have if you need some more input from my side, let me know. We can work on it.
Thank you, sir.
No worries. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I did see Professor Ahluwalia in the beginning. He was one of the first people to log in. Sir, can you unmute yourself and switch on your camera also if you want to share something with us? Professor Ahluwalia. I think maybe he's not able to unmute. Dr. Sudhir,
Yes.
sir, can you switch on your camera? Yes, I was not able to see him. I thought Professor Ahluwalia, he was the first one to log in. Okay. I have a few questions from you, sir.
Sure, sure.
Sir, please tell us something about your latest project.
Actually, our latest project is to improve upon, I'm basically trained as an environmental biotechnologist, but my roots are in botany. And then what happened, I was ventured into the environment side and ultimately came to environmental biotechnology. 3 projects which I'm doing right now. One is a biogas, which you have already seen. Another one which we are doing earlier with the support of Ministry of Environment and Forests and Climate Change, and another, then the second phase we got from DBT on bioremediation of electronic waste, because e-gadgets are also increasing day by day. So we are trying to retrieve metals out of that. And the third one is industrial enzymes, because we are in an area which is ecologically sensitive and having hot springs also. So we look into certain enzymes which are useful. And recently, one more thing we added, to provide skills to 12th passed students, science students of nearby villages, so that they should be trained directly for an industry, so that to cut short their education if they are not having any financial resources. After 12th, call them, have 3-4 months course, brush their skills along with some industry people, and maybe they will get some employment. So these 4 things I'm doing right now.
Yes, I remember when we discussed your topic, you were saying that this whole project creates a lot of job opportunities for the youth.
Yes.
So there is one last question, and then I would like to talk to the audience. Again, from Mr. Kalwani, he says, can algae biomass substitute food waste?
I think I'll not be a right person to answer. Professor Ahluwalia is actually expert in that. But yes, alga is also biodegradable, and surely you can use. One thing I would like to tell you: whenever we are using some waste, we are not directly adding it into the digester. I know that midday meal, where it is there, they will add it directly, but in the background, we actually took all 7 days food from our canteen, our mess. We used to calculate what is the total solid, volatile solid, what is actually percentage of organic dry matter along with matter. So much analysis we did. Then we preferred them how to mix it, and then you have to add it, because you can't tell them your CN ratio should be 30. But we had a data with us. That's why we could move on with confidence. So yes, you can use algal biomass. You can surely use, but what type of algal and how much biomass is required? If transportation is required from algal biomass to the digester, you are actually increasing the cost. So economy wise, it will not be good. So I told social, cultural, economics, and then science. Science should come to 4th place. Then you will be successful. I think this is my idea.
Thank you for your answers, sir. I see that in your work, you have not just used technology, you have used all the principles of management also, because right from applying your knowledge to motivating people, to getting their cooperation, to going into the field and doing everything, hats off to your dedication. And I could also see the
Thank you, madam.
pride. We could, sense the pride when you were introducing your team to us and their work. So thank you for your time, and thank you for sharing your knowledge with us and your work with us. One last request to all the participants. You have been wonderful participants. Please fill in the feedback form, and if you can, please switch on your cameras. Don't unmute yourself, but switch on your cameras, and with your permission, I would like to take a snapshot of everyone. So I'll give you 2 minutes. Mr. Jalota is there. Thank you for coming, sir. And please switch on your cameras, no problem. Mr. Kalwani, you've asked so many questions.
Sonia ji, I should add one more thing. Actually, from my respected senior Jalota ji, I used to get a call and I used to get very, very good suggestions, which I time to time incorporate in our work, and thankful to him.
Yes, he's very enthusiastic. I think, sir, you are going to help us with some other alumni related things also. We got your mail. Okay, I'll be waiting. Can you please, this picture which I'm going to take is for the press release. So if you're okay with it, please switch on your cameras and I'll just take a screenshot. Okay. Yes, now with the press release, some people are joining. I'm waiting for a moment. 1, 2, 3. You can smile. Nice picture, Ms. Shivani. Ms. Kalana. Where is Professor Kent today? I saw him. Professor Kent, you're somewhere? One of our alumni members, very enthusiastic. Thank you so much, everyone. I see more people. Thank you. Sir, with your permission, now I'll end the meeting. And if you want to see the recording of this webinar, you can subscribe to our channel and you will see all the videos, this one as well as the other webinars. Thank you. Have a great day. One more thing, I would like to thank everyone for staying mute, because it creates a lot of disturbance otherwise. And on behalf of Deepti Gupta, Professor Deepti Gupta ma'am, she messaged me that she's taking a class, so she could not come to thank you personally, sir. I just got a message. Yes, but she did join in between while taking the class also. And then she said, sorry, I will not be able to speak because I am in the class. So convey my thanks to sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia ji, for your excellent support. Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, all participants. Thank you. Thank you so much.